I can remember my first winter camp as clear as day. I was 22 years old, leaving my wife and young family for the first time. I was a farmer, and a good one, but the winters were long, and farming just didn't pay the bills anymore. I had to become a lumberjack.
When the winter comes at last and the river freezes fast, out into the woods we go. Live for months there in the snow, it's away we go to the winter camp. Away we go to the winter camp. Wretched man, what lies ahead? Far from home you'll make your bed, in the rain or in the snow. Cold hard work is all you'll know, it's away we go to the winter camp. Away we go to the winter camp. Away we go to the winter camp.
Good day. There. Hi there. You know, guys know where? Tell me where the office is here.
Well, sir, right down over there.
Oh yeah.
Looking for a job?
Yeah.
No, not here. Down that one, over there.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
You'll have to sign for these blankets.
The clerk was the bookkeeper and storekeeper rolled into one.
Okay, thank you very much.
He sold important items such as boots, socks, and of course tobacco, and he kept track of production and wages.
Hey, guys, we got a greenhorn coming in.
He makes it.
Not exactly a warm reception, but it was to be expected. I was the newcomer, the greenhorn.
Now, here, we got a bunk up here in the corner for you. You can put your turkey up there, your blankets.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
That's your nest for the winter.
Okay, thank you very much.
The smell took some getting used to. A mixture of coal oil, dirty socks, and tobacco, plus some other odors. Well, I couldn't quite place. My bed was a straw mattress, 2 inches thick, on planks.
Thing, he says, my arms are dead. He says, I just can't do nothing.
I wonder if we're going to have to carry that guy out in a pine box.
You know, you couldn't hold him as good.
I was weary after the long trek, but I couldn't fall asleep right away. I was thinking about what the foreman had told me. For the next 4 months, this bunk would be my bed. The only way out of camp was on a stretcher. There were 100 men in this camp. By the spring, 4 or 5 would be dead. Greenhorns were the most likely victims. Practical jokes were rampant. After I'd been in camp a month, they nailed my boots to the floor. But that was better than what happened to me the first night in camp. The smell was so bad, I pulled the chinking out to get some air. When I woke up, my hair was frozen to the wall. Breakfast. The most important meal of the day. A mountain of food, good hearty food, and we had 15 minutes to get it all down. Big Gene McIsaac, the cook, was boss in the cookery and considered the most important man in camp. A good cook meant a happy camp, and he was treated with respect, as was his daughter.
Never mind her.
He was a stern enforcer of the rules, as I found out my first morning in camp. It was an important breakfast for 2 reasons. I found the empty spot that was to be my place as long as I was in camp, and I made a big mistake.
Whereabouts you from?
Out you, come on.
I just started eating.
No talking at meals. That was the law in bush camps. It was a hungry lesson.
Shantyman's life is a wearisome one, though some say it's free from care. It's the ringing of an axe from morning until night, in the middle of the forest drear. It's sleeping all night in our bunks without cheer, while the cold wintry winds do blow. And as soon as the morning star does appear, to the wild woods we must go.
Harvey Bell, the foreman. He showed us where to cut and where to make trails. He knew his job. He'd spent over 25 years in bush camps working his way up to foreman. Harvey was always 1 step ahead of us, and he was always somewhere nearby, keeping a watchful eye. I started out as a trail cutter. Our job was to clear the brush, making skid trails for hauling out the logs. It was the kind of job suitable for a greenhorn, but it wasn't an easy job. We had to work fast, keep ahead of the sawyers and teamsters. The sawyers had a lot of responsibility. They selected the trees to be cut, sounding them, listening to make sure they weren't rotten. They decided the best direction for the fall, and then they went to it. They were a tough breed, as sturdy as the pine they cut. They got paid more and deserved every bit of it. The sawyer's job wasn't over just because the trees were down. They limbed the trees and then measured and bucked them into log lengths. The teamster looked after the horses. Those horses were hard-working, important members of the camp, supplying the strength needed to move our heavy logs. The teamster's job was to skid the logs along the cleared bush trails to the skidway on the main road. At the skidway, the roller took over. With the horses pulling on the decking line, the roller used his cant hook to guide the logs up the ever-growing log pile. Then there was the scaler, the government's man. He tallied up the logs on the skidway, assessing the Crown's revenue. He also made sure we were cutting the right trees in the right areas. The scaler was often a loner, working long into the night. There was something different about him that set him apart from the rest of us. He could add. 6 days a week, in all weather, we worked as a crew. I can still remember the fellows in my first crew, especially Steve, who everyone knew had a soft spot for the cook's daughter. But no distractions. We had to keep alert all the time. Those big pine could fall like thunder. We looked out for each other, but in the end, you had to look out for yourself. I became the new Sawyer.
Come on, you jolly fellows, and listen to my song. It's all about the shanty boys and how they got along. We're the jolliest bunch of fellows that ever you could find. The way we spend our winter months is hurling down the pine.
It wasn't as easy as it looked. I had to work with the other experienced sawyers, find the rhythm, keep it up for 10 hours a day. For the first while, my arms felt like rubber. And I had to learn fast. We had a quota of 100 logs a day. No quota, no job. Eventually, I got the hang of it.
Come on, you jolly fellows, and listen to my song. It's all about the shanty boys and how they got along. We're the jolliest bunch of fellows that ever you could find. The way we spend our winter months is hurling down the pine.
We were eating kind of late today.
Well, if we'd have got 2 more trees, we could have waited till supper.
Gotta thaw out this bread. Froze again.
You know what they say about the guy whose smoke goes through from the fire? What's that? Tell him, Harvey.
Oh, I better not tell him.
Oh, you're the foreman.
Oh, I know, but let's
Hey, Harvey, what are you going to do with the big one down the hill now?
just leave it for now.
Put your fire in high gear there.
Gotta get the frost out of her.
While we were out there in the bush, others were working back in camp. The blacksmith, I think his name was Rene, he made sure all the horses were shod. A good blacksmith was a valuable man. Besides horseshoes, he also made most of the camp equipment and kept it in good order. When the cutting season ended in January, the jammer was put into use, lifting the logs up onto the sleigh. The top loader guided the logs into place. His was an important job. He had to balance the load properly on the sleigh so it wouldn't go out of control on the icy run. Load after load was hauled down to the dumping site on the bay. The ice had been thickened by repeated flooding in order to hold the entire output of our camp. The logs would sit on the frozen bay until the spring thaw, when the river drive would begin. After a long week, we look forward to Sunday, our day off. However, Butch, the chore boy, worked 7 days a week.
Hey, Butch, I got a job for you.
He was young, but he was a man, and he earned his wages like the rest of us.
Now, Butch, the reason I'm putting this here up here is, as I mentioned to you before, that this horse won't take orders anymore, and I want you to take it out to the bush. When you get out there, then you will light the end of this fuse. Have you got that now?
It had been a long season, a long time away from home and family. And I could hardly wait to get my wages, almost $150, and head home for the spring plowing. It was the end of that camp. After 4 years, the area around there had all been cut. The stoves and cookery would be taken and the rest left to rot. But a new camp would be opened somewhere else next year where the cutting was better.
The snow, I hear, he's melting pretty quick right now, eh?
It won't be too long. We'll get the drive going.
It was in 35 teams hauling here. And the gravel pit was a real high bank, and when they blast, for safety, they had to keep. So he told us Big LeBlanc.
Hey, Butch, is that the firewood from the stable you blow up today?
What makes those things dance?
I mind one time we had a puppet like that that danced through the camp all night long. We couldn't stop it no how. It just kept on going and going and going, like some sort of crazy monster. Well, we finally had to take an axe to it to stop her.
6 guys, I heard.
Me, I heard the same thing. Effrayable story like that.
My first winter camp had been a good one. I'd been lucky for a greenhorn. I wasn't one of the ones who died. I didn't leave camp on a stretcher. And I knew that next season I'd probably be back, ready to do it all again. No longer a greenhorn, but an experienced lumberjack.
Away we go, across the ice and through the snow, leaving our families, away we go. We're the last of the white pine loggers. Away we go, across the ice and through the snow, leaving our families, away we go. We're the last of the white pine loggers.